Hi everyone, Inat Kessler here with the new video tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Christmas folio mini album. So I'm going to use these papers that I have designed myself, and of course you can use whatever papers you have in your stash, but sometimes I like to design my own papers. It's really fun, and then I can print as many papers as I want. And these come in two sizes. They are 8.5 by 11 and 6 by 6, and you also have 12 by 12, which I didn't print. If you want, I can leave the link to those papers in the description. Like always, you will have all the measurements and the instructions in the description under the video in a link. You can go ahead and grab that and print it, cut all the pieces, and follow the tutorial. Okay, so we're going to start with 3 pieces of chipboard to make the folio itself. And again, you have all the measurements in the link in the description under the video. So I'm going to take 2 8.5 by 11 papers and glue them together to make a larger paper to cover my folio cover. And once I have that, I can go ahead and arrange my chipboard pieces on the inside of the paper. So I'm going to attach the spine in the center, and then I'm going to add the 2 other pieces on both sides. It's always a good idea to use liquid glue, because liquid glue allows you to move the piece into position, because it takes a few seconds until it's dry. It also adds strength to your final project. So when I do covers and mini albums and basically everything, I always use liquid glue. So I'm going to add my 2 larger chipboard pieces, and as you can remember, when you make a cover, a folio, or anything with chipboard, if it needs to move, you need to allow a space for it to move. So you need to create a joint. Basically, even in our body, our joints are moving because there is a tiny space between the bones. So the same thing goes here. So when I attach the other chipboard piece, I leave at least the thickness of the chipboard. The space is as wide as the thickness of the chipboard. I like to even add on that and sometimes make it 2 spaces. So like, imagine you have 2 pieces of chipboard and that's their width. That is the space that you're going to leave in between the pieces when you attach them. Same goes for the other side. This way you'll have a really nice joint, and the folio cover can be closed and open. The paper will not tear and everything will work perfectly. So once we're done with that, we're going to cut a little bit off the excess of the paper because it's slightly too big. I'm leaving about 1 inch, 1.5 inches of paper, just eyeballing it. You don't really need to measure, and it doesn't really have to be straight because it's going to be covered later with the inside paper. Next, we're going to cut the corners. And when you cut the corners, don't cut all the way to the chipboard corner. Leave a tiny little bit of paper, because then we'll be able to make nice professional looking corners when we wrap the paper around the chipboard. Next, we're going to fold the paper just to teach it where to go. We don't put any glue at this point. Just fold the paper tightly around the chipboard, and now we can go ahead and add our glue. I always start with the top and the bottom, leave the sides last. So just apply the liquid glue. Here again, liquid glue is the best. It adds strength and easier to work with. Take your bone folder or your fingers and burnish it really well, and do exactly the same thing on the bottom. So you add your glue and then fold the paper on the chipboard. We're basically wrapping the chipboard with our paper. Now for the corners. We're going to insert the corners with the bone folder a little bit, fold them, and this will, when we attach the paper, it will look, the corner will look really sharp and nice. This is what I like to do with the corners. Some people cut them in different ways. This is, I found, the easiest and the best way. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side, and then we'll have our folio ready. Only thing we need to do is cover it with another piece of paper and then leave it aside to dry a little bit. It's always good to let things dry before you fold your cover or move anything. It keeps the paper from tearing and then give you better movement. So this paper is going to look really cool. I'm just going to cut around the edges, get rid of the white margins. We'll do it really quick. That's a good thing about editing videos. You can really go fast on the parts that are less important. Okay, so this is going to go on the top of our folio cover, and again, I rather use liquid glue. It allows me to wiggle the paper and really align it with the edges and make sure that it's completely straight. If you feel more comfortable working with a double-sided tape, that's completely up to you. I just give you my advice. Okay, so once our folio is finished, we're going to set it aside to dry for a few seconds, and then we're going to start working on our left side of the folio. We're going to create a slash pocket there. So this will give us a lot of room to add photos, especially vertical photos. So after this is dry, I'm going to go over the spaces in between the cover pieces and gently fold them. And this is our folio cover. Isn't that cool? Really like how it turned out. Can set it aside now and start working on the slash pocket. Okay, so for the slash pocket we need a wet piece of cardstock. Again, you have all the measurements in the cutting guide that you can download from the link under the video. And we're going to score it on the left side at 1/2 inch. And then turn it, and on the long side score it at 5.5 inches. Okay, once we have that, we're going to align our piece, and then with a ruler we're going to make 2 marks, one on the top. From the left edge, we're going to mark 1 3/8 of an inch. I like to work with this type of ruler. It's transparent, so it's really easy to see that everything is straight and aligned. So 1 3/8 of a quarter. make a little mark with your pencil, and then turn it 90 degrees, and from the right side, from the right edge, we are going to make a mark at 1 inch. A little mark, and then we're going to draw a diagonal line connecting the two marks. Basically, this is the line that we're going to cut away to create the slash pocket. So you can do this with scissors, you can do this with a craft knife and a ruler, or you can do this with a trimmer and align the cut exactly and cut it. So this is the pocket. Just erase any pencil marks if you have them. And for our cover paper, we're going to do exactly the same, only in slightly different measurements. So from the left edge on the top, we're going to make a mark at 1 1/8 of an inch, 1 1/8, and turn it, and from the right edge we're going to make a mark at 3/4 of an inch, and then again draw a line, a diagonal line between the 2 points, and cut it with scissors, with a craft knife, or with your trimmer. This is the cover paper for the pocket. Okay, let's cut, and then we can go ahead and cover the paper, the pocket, with our cover paper, and it will look really accurate. We're going to fold on the 2 score lines that we did, and then cut the corner to create our pocket. You don't want to fold the 2 pieces on top of one another. We're going to cut from the bottom and then slightly diagonal like this. And then when we fold, oops, this one is too big. Sorry, I gave you the wrong measurements. The measurements in the cutting guide though are accurate. Sometimes even I make mistakes. It happens. Sorry about that. Let's correct that. Let's make the mark at 3/4 of an inch on the pattern paper, and from the right side on the 1/2 inch mark. This way it's going to be exactly the size that we want. So let's just cut it out and then attach the cover paper to our pocket, and we can attach the pocket to the left side of the folio. Okay. Sometimes it's really difficult to cut the right size, and even I get it wrong. Okay, so let's bring back the folio. We're going to apply glue on the bottom of the 2 little flaps and attach it to the left bottom corner of our folio. So I really hope you like this tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video so you won't miss anything, and you'll be able to follow all my tutorials and make all my projects. So this is the end of part 1 of our folio mini album. Please don't forget to tune in next week to make part 2 with our waterfall flaps and other surprises. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next time.